What's up, man?
I don't actually know.
Oh, that's a problem.
Yeah.
Getting a little bit of that daily dose.
That everyday dose.
Everyday dose?
Every day.
Oh.
I do drink it every day.
So I said the wrong thing. I said daily.
You did.
Oh, shoot. It's not good.
It was appropriate, though, because I do drink it daily.
Everyday dose. Okay.
I do.
Which really means the same thing, but for branding reasons, we want to support their brand.
Right.
So, yeah. So how's it going?
Pretty good, man. I cannot complain. I'm happy to be here doing another podcast episode with you on this beautiful couch that we
I know.
have in this beautiful studio.
Yes.
It's nice.
This couch has seen it all.
It has. How are you doing?
Good. I'm excited.
What are you excited for?
It's been a couple weeks since we've been back here, and
oh, true.
Yeah,
true.
I've been just itching to sit down and record some more.
Yeah, me too. I got that creative itch, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Should probably get that checked out.
Have a little bit of those creative bed bugs.
Mm-hmm. And creative mosquito bites.
Yeah. Some creative
creative crabs.
Yes.
Not the kind you eat, by the way.
Yeah.
I just want to clarify, I don't have any of the above. I'm doing well.
That's good.
To you?
I don't think you need to clarify.
Okay.
Because even if you did, I don't know who would believe you. That's okay.
That's okay. That's okay. You know?
Yeah. So, I've been thinking, I saw something in the news, and we can dive into the article here in a little bit. But
all right.
Tech is coming a long way, and I guess there's some restaurants that are implementing some robot waiters, like waiters that are robots instead of people.
That's crazy.
But like conceptually, with all the movies and sci-fi we've always had, it's not that weird. But actually, the real life application is pretty crazy.
It's jarring to say the least.
Yeah. So what do you think is like the first mainstream restaurant that will implement that?
Well, I can't tell you what the first mainstream restaurant will be, but I can tell you for a fact that when I worked at Olive Garden, or as we collectively called it, OG. We called it OG.
Yeah.
My OG peeps, if you're watching.
OG fake Italian.
Yeah, fake Italian. Either way, we were all called together one day as we were working a shift, and they're like, hey, we're going to have a meeting next month. Everybody needs to be here. We're going to come in early on a Saturday or Sunday morning. I can't remember what it was, but everyone had to be there. And we were told this was a big deal and it was important to the whole corporation, not just our store. So we're like, ugh. So we get there and the manager sits us down and we get started, and he was like, well, guys, we have to talk about this. This is being implemented across the board nationwide. And he does this reveal of a tablet system for the table.
Yeah.
Dude, I don't think I can explain enough the emotions that flared up from all of the servers. They were considering revolting. Everyone's like, I will quit. I will move to Canada. You know what I'm saying? They're like, I will burn this whole place down, because I think they thought their money was on the line. So I don't know who will implement a robot first, but OG put tablets in at the restaurant and it was chaos.
And that's not even, in fact, that didn't hurt tips at all. It probably just helped them do their job more efficiently. Now, of course, there's a lot of people who have to get help with those things. And it probably makes more work for the waiters, when someone's like, I don't know how to do this.
Yeah, it definitely boosted because it helped us get food out to the table quicker when people could order appetizers from the table. Or
probably a little bit of a learning curve, but ultimately you think it was better.
Yeah, I do.
So if people had a hard time with adjusting to that, just think about the idea of robot waiters, because they're not just going to completely replace all their waiters with robots. It's going to be an incremental thing,
right? Small
steps, and so humans are going to have to work alongside the robots.
Yeah,
it'll
be interesting, that's for sure. I don't know if people will instantaneously adapt to it and enjoy the concept. I think that they will be startled and scared at first, I'm sure.
Yeah, I think it'll be a lot I think the robots are going to be a lot more efficient than, how tech has been in the past because of AI. So it's going to be a lot more real life, but I think that's going to scare people even more because they're so real life like.
Oh, for sure. Are you saying they're going to look like human beings?
That's not what I meant. I meant like just their speech, like what they say and how they can talk, and their intelligence basically is going to be it's like AI has boomed the last few years. The language models that are out there
Yes.
now are crazy, and so robots will be able to communicate a lot more efficiently and a lot more lifelike, and that'll be both good and bad. Now that I think about it,
So I just want to say this. If they are trying to replicate human nature, then why not just go for human appearance? Let's make some attractive robots. If your robot is serving your table, it would be nice to have them be visually appealing. That's
Yeah.
I think that it would be more favorable from those who are on the receiving end of the robot serving you
yeah,
if they weren't startling to look at. If it was just a nice,
but not too
beautiful
visually
face.
appealing.
Right. Just
Maybe certain restaurants.
just enough to comfort you, but not enough to distract you from ordering your food.
Yeah, I like it. So, otherwise you're going to have some old school looking robots, and
Yeah.
people. There's a give and take there. There's pros and cons of the lifelike and the old school, robots. Because the old school, the like traditional robots they don't like human like at all. So like you have a hard time interacting with them, You got R2D2's cousin over there working part-time flipping hamburgers, I don't know. How are people going to react to that?
They would like that. If there was an R2 unit,
Well, probably.
flipping a burger,
That's too mainstream.
that sounds galaxy edgy to me. And
yeah,
you know
probably.
what that is, right?
I do. I've never been there, but I've seen a little bit of it. But yeah,
Disney, you know what? I think we just answered our question. Disney will probably be the first to implement robot waiters in the form of Star Wars
I never
droids.
thought about that.
Well, now you have.
Nice. I like it. You know what? Droid musicians. Yeah. You know what? Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you know what it would sound like even more than that? Let's hit the intro.
Oh.
So I wanted to show you this article that I found about said robot waiters. I'm gonna put it up on the screen.
Give it to me. I'm ready to absorb this information as if I was a robot myself.
Yeah. All right. So this is from the AP.
Okay.
The what do they call that? Associated Press.
Alternative Press, which was a magazine for music. Do you remember that?
Okay.
Boom.
Yeah. Okay. Are robot waiters the future? Some restaurants think so. Here, let me show you this.
Okay.
It's up on the screen. You see it up on the screen right here in front of us.
Yep.
Okay.
I sure do.
You may have already seen them in restaurants, high-waist machines that can greet guests, lead them to their tables, deliver food and drinks, and ferry dirty dishes to the kitchen. Some have cat-like faces and even purr when you scratch their heads.
Seems unnecessary, but sure, continue.
I agree.
Meow.
But are robot waiters the future? It's a question the restaurant industry is increasingly trying to answer. Many think robot waiters are the solution to the industry's labor shortages. Sales of them have been growing rapidly in recent years, with tens of thousands now gliding through dining rooms worldwide. A little bit lower, it says, take orders. They can't take orders, and many restaurants have steps, outdoor patios, and other physical challenges they can't adapt to. Restaurants are pretty chaotic places, so it's hard to insert automation in a way that's really productive. Still, the robots are proliferating. What does that mean?
Proliferating is taking a previous existing count of something and increasing it further.
Okay. Redwood City, California based, introduced its survey robot in 2021, expects to have 10,000 deployed by the end of the year.
What
End
restaurant?
of this year in 44 U.S. states.
What restaurant?
It's a company.
What's the company?
Survey.
Survey.
With an
Yeah,
I.
sure. Household name. Know it. Love it.
I know.
They make great restaurants.
China-based Pudu Robotics, which that's not sketchy at all.
That's what Sebulba says in Star Wars. You know he does.
Yeah, it's true.
Poodle.
Yeah. And he was second place in the podcast race.
And he also raced robots.
Ah.
And the droids fixed the podcast. What word am I not thinking of? Pod racers.
Podcast.
Podcast racer.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm done.
This company has deployed 56,000 robots worldwide. I guess I didn't realize this was already such a thing.
Yeah, I didn't either.
every restaurant chain is looking toward as much automation as possible. That's true, whether they're thinking robots or not. They're thinking automation.
Right.
People are going to see these everywhere in the next year or two. That's interesting.
Not if they're blind.
And that's all the article I'm going to read.
Did you hear me? They're not going to see them if they're blind. So this article is fake news. Fake news.
How long will it take for blind people to see them?
Depends on how quickly the robots can develop sight-enhancing technology.
So you can check out this article on your own.
Okay.
On AP. I'm talking to the audience, not you. But you can also check it out if you want.
Rude. No. Talk to them. Don't talk
Are
to me.
robot waiters the future? Some restaurants think so. So anyway, it's kind of like, I read this and I was like, I didn't realize there was that many.
Right.
So what do you think, like how soon do you think we're going to have, like we're going to see one here in our town at a restaurant?
Well,
They'll probably be in bigger cities first.
so I could talk to a couple people to pick their brains. I like to do that before we film a show just to get people's thoughts and opinions and engagement on certain topics. But what I had heard is there's already McDonald's pre-existing in the world that have a fully automated wait staff. And we can't call it a staff, a fully automated restaurant.
I did see that in the news. They opened like 2 or 3 of them in some cities.
I think New York is one of them.
Maybe Houston.
Possibly.
Yeah.
But that it's a very strange and bizarre experience.
Yeah. Well, I saw a picture, and I don't know. You know how sometimes you see a thumbnail picture and it's not actually the real thing. They just like make one to deceive you. I saw one that was like the restaurant was painted like a black kind of color. Like it was a darker color scheme with the McDonald's yellow and stuff, but it looked eerie. I'm like, I don't want to go into a fully automated restaurant and it's painted that. I'm going to be scared going into it already just because of the color.
You'd be scared of a fully black painted restaurant.
No, but okay, you'd have to see it. It's color psychology.
You're saying by knowing what you know about the restaurant in combination with the paint color, it's just then the tone is off.
Yeah, I'm just saying like they're not helping making it an inviting looking place. I saw I don't know.
You're saying if there were unicorns and cotton candy and roller coasters vibrantly painted on the outside of this building, that it'd probably be a more successful
campaign. Think about it. That's the kind of vibe that made McDonald's popular.
It was bright, colorful, and cheerful.
Pedophile clowns in the 70s, stuff like that.
Are you referring to Ronald himself? Oh, Ron?
No.
Oh, Ron. Ron, come in and get your hamburgers, kids.
What's that from?
I don't know. I just made it up. It's not a thing. I'm just calling him Old Ron.
I never know when you're like doing a bit or like you're doing an impression or made something up.
Well, that's the mystery behind me, Jaron. It's exciting and enthralling. Get used to it.
If you were a robot waiter, what do you think you'd look like?
Let me compute this. Probably myself, I would imagine. I don't know.
Are there any robots from pop cultures, any movies that you could kind of be like, oh, I'd look like that, like IG-11 or something?
Do you remember Centennial Man with Robin Williams?
Oh, yeah.
It was the Disney movie.
Is that the one where he was a robot and then he eventually looked like himself? Like he first was a
robot,
metal.
then looked like Robin Williams in the end.
Yes.
He wanted to become human.
That was an eerie movie. I remembered the very first scene of that movie. This came out in the late 90s. It was like the year it was in the future was 2005.
Are you saying Robin Williams after 2005 was a robot? Were they forecasting that he had already died or was planning to die?
So is he really dead or?
Had he already died and that was how they integrated Robin Williams' robot into society? And they couldn't keep it up. Dude, maybe his battery died. And I hope this isn't offensive to anybody watching this, but I really want to know.
You got me thinking.
Yeah, that's the point. See,
I like it.
Even though we're naturally unintelligent, we can come up with things from time to time.
But if we put our heads together and think hard enough, then oops, we just broke our headphones.
Yeah, that's why we shouldn't do that.
Then we have the brain power of like half a normal person. So
yeah, that's worth noting.
I think I'd be, if I was like a robot waiter from pop culture, I'd probably be like Baymax.
Oh, you wanted a pop? Oh, okay. Why Baymax, Jaron?
I just have Baymax vibes, I feel like. I'd be back there trying to like balance some trays on my stomach shelf or something. And people really wouldn't know what to do with that, but I feel like I'd get some tips out of it.
But they'd probably enjoy your presence because Baymax was very warm and inviting himself, right?
He was.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like sometimes big guys have a vibe that's kind of scary, and other times they just have more of an elephant vibe.
I'm trying to think of how I would feel about you being Baymax. And I think I like it. Did you just gurgle?
I think my throat just did that.
That was interesting.
Yeah,
Well,
a little bit of that dose kickback.
Yeah, that dose kickback.
Yeah.
Too much dose. But to answer your question, I think I'd probably stick with Robin Williams' Centennial Man before he became a human. And
Yeah.
maybe over time I'd transition into full Robin Williams because the world needs him now more than ever.
I legit think that if anyone had to replace him, I think you would be good at that.
You think so?
And that might be offensive, but like, I don't mean that disrespecting his rest in peaceness, but it's more of a affirmation for you that I think you could fulfill that to some degree. Not, you wouldn't fully replace him because you can't do that, but I feel like you could have a chance at least fulfilling a little bit of the void that Robin Williams left.
Right. It would be fractional. I mean, it would be so small in comparison to what he brought to the table, but I do appreciate that. Thank you. You've boosted my self-esteem. And you know what, Jaron, while we're at it, I think you'd make a great Baymax robot waiter of the future. I think you could save the day.
That really charges my batteries.
That was so low tier that I loved it. Did you hear my giggle?
Yeah.
It was good.
I did. I actually can hear you in my headphones.
Shut up.
Yeah.
What are you, a robot?
I can't shut up because you can hear me in your headphones.
Do you have like audio receptors on the side of your head to process
Yes.
audio?
Yeah, like on our logo, you can see that.
Yep.
So.
True.
Okay, so I want to know this. Do you tip robot waiters?
No. Why?
I don't know.
They don't need money to survive. No.
I just think there's some complicated ethics here.
We're the only country in the world that tips our wait staff, so no.
Is that true?
Do you tip people when you go and pick up food? Genuine curiosity, if there is a screen for a tip, or if you've already ordered ahead, do you tip?
Like if someone didn't serve me, no, I don't tip.
I might do a small amount, like $1. Understanding
if they're standing right there and like staring at me, sometimes I feel pressure.
No, I mean like when you order online ahead of time and there's an option for a tip.
No, not if they don't have to like go out of their way to do anything.
So why
if I'm
would
just
you
picking up at a counter, then no.
If you don't have the emotional response to tip a human in even that scenario, then why would you tip a robot?
That's true. I just don't know. I mean, there's just some complicated ethics,
What is a robot going to do with money?
I know they don't need to pay the rent. They don't need to send their kids to college.
Actually,
okay.
No, you know what? As humans, we should start charging them for rent. If they become a thing and they start walking around like bipedal human beings, we need to start charging them
in
rent.
exchange for serving us.
Yeah.
So we just buy a robot, let it live at our house for free.
It's not living with me. We build facilities for them, like apartment complexes.
No, that's exactly how they take over.
By charging them money?
No, by putting them all together in one place like that with,
Okay, that's how we took over the world as humans, so I mean...
Exactly. Exactly. Exactly, bro.
Okay, you're proving a point. I understand.
I think you got to think about the tip thing a little bit. You can't just dismiss it so fast.
Okay. I mean, sell me on it because I'm not sold.
I mean... You're getting up to leave. Do you at least, go up and just kind of give them a fistful of double A's or something,
As something that's of importance to them, like their currency? That's what you're saying?
Yeah.
Maybe a couple pieces of wire, some copper, some lithium.
Yeah, or, if they did a really good job, you can give them a little bit of that, fiber optic.
Oh, yeah. I was thinking Beskar, so they could deck themselves out with some nice metal to protect their innards.
Yeah.
That's a Star Wars reference, and I know you know that, but if anyone's listening.
Beskar really became popular on the show Mandalorian.
Yes, it did. Right? Yes.
Are you caught up with this season?
No.
Okay. So this is Mandalorian season 3. The finale.
I've seen the first episode
airs
of season 3.
tomorrow, and I'm really excited.
Okay.
So this isn't really too much of a spoiler.
Yeah, you won't spoil it for me. And if anyone's watching, spoiler alert.
I promise you, this is not a spoil. Like, it's technically a spoiler, but it's not one you're going to care about if you haven't seen it. But in I want to say the 6th episode, maybe, there was like this little side mission thing, and they went to this planet called Plazier 15 or Plazier 16, something like that. There was a couple of cameos by some famous people. And basically, they wanted those people that were in charge of this planet wanted the main characters, so like Mandalorian and Bo-Katan.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted them to take care of this droid problem they were having. Some droids kind of started malfunctioning, and they were like, well, "Why don't you just turn them all off?" And because it was going to be hard for them to identify which ones were malfunctioning, like, "Why don't you just turn them all off?" Bo-Katan said.
Right.
And they were like, "We can't do that because our citizens they rely too much on these droids, and our society would collapse because people don't know how to work or take care of themselves."
That is beautiful. That's mirroring real life for sure.
And then it kind of reminded me of them fellas on Wall-E.
Oh, yeah, the guys in the chairs?
Yeah, the humans.
The ones with Baymax vibes.
They definitely had some Baymax vibes. Let's pull this up, okay? I feel like we at least need to pull this up.
Okay, hit me with it.
Okay.
Give me the data.
Let's
Upload it directly into my
let's go to
hard
Google.
drive.
What are those things called?
Websites.
What am I looking for? Oh yeah, Wall-E.
Google is a website. I thought that's what you were referencing.
Wall-E people.
Wow. I can't believe I just did that.
Okay, let's get some images going on here. Oh yeah.
Wow.
And really, these guys, I hate it when it does this. Why can't I just make the picture bigger?
Google's weird like that.
I know.
You can hold down on it and open it in a new tab.
Actually, those two kind of remind me of the two cameo people on The Mandalorian.
That may have been for a reason. I mean, it is a Disney product. They know how to sell the emotional.
They were kind of like the people in charge, the two leaders, and the shapes of them and the races are spot on.
So who would Wall-E be in that scenario? I'm going to see if I can point to it on screen for anyone watching.
Maybe. I'll try to line that up. In the Mandalorian scenario?
He's like the R2-D2 in this scenario.
Yeah, but he wasn't really in... Oh, yeah. He has a new droid this season. It was actually the one from A New Hope, the red one that they had the busted motivator that they take. R5, R4?
I think it's R4.
Something like that.
I'm not surprised they went for nostalgia bait. They can't not.
Yeah.
Star Wars, you have a problem. Like, make something new that doesn't reference previous content that was highly regarded and critically acclaimed. Like, make something new that's relevant.
So,
which I know they do.
Apparently, this is a scene from Wall-E. That guy has some Baymax vibes.
Yes, he does.
Because he's dressed in white and for other reasons.
Have you seen Ghostbusters?
No.
He's also got the giant marshmallow man vibes, too, from Ghostbusters. Well, pull that up for me so you can see it.
What?
Ghostbusters marshmallow.
Oh, I hate it when you have to do this.
Type? Yeah, it's rough.
No, you have to backspace.
If only a computer could do it for you.
Ghostbusters.
Marshmallow.
What?
Marshmallow.
Okay.
He also has Baymax vibes.
Oh, I didn't spell it right.
It was a giant, like...
Oh, wow. That is some... Oh, yeah.
It started attacking the city. I'm pretty sure they, like, grew it to monstrous proportions. You can see it right there. It's like... And it was, like, rampaging through the city.
And you know it wasn't giving medical care.
Of course
like
not.
Baymax.
Well, yeah.
Man.
It was destroying.
Wow. I like that.
I don't know if it's like a Pokemon where it just says like its name or it's like marshmallow, because I haven't seen it in a long time. So
I don't think I've ever seen that.
Pokemon or Ghostbusters?
Either of them.
Okay, well, and you're mad at me for not seeing Mandalorian season 3.
Well, this is stuff that I was kind of out of my control when I was a kid because I didn't have cable. My parents kind of, they didn't let us watch things that they felt were a little sketchy, and I don't know why. Now they're like, oh, it was kind of ridiculous that we did some of that, but that was the 90s.
So I can relate to that. Definitely. But question for you.
Yeah.
If all of the computers in the world shut off tonight at 12:30 a.m. for absolutely no reason, how do you feel you would function in a society without computers and we never restore that technology again?
I don't know. I wouldn't function well because all my skills are computer based, and I don't do very good with physical labor. Like doing stuff.
You'd learn
with your body.
You'd learn.
And I'm not talking about doing stuff with your body that way. I just mean anything, you know,
Yeah.
exerting my body in any way.
Yeah, physical labor is not your forte. I got it.
And I could get there. I could get in shape. I
Yeah,
would
you
have
could.
to, and it would be fine. It would just be hard.
What would you miss the most?
About computers,
Yeah.
probably entertainment. Just because I'm not like watching stuff and playing games all the time. I'm but I do a little bit each day, and I feel like a lot of the stuff I'm into is like digital entertainment based.
Okay.
So I think I'd miss some of that. I think I'd miss the connection I have with other people, whether it's people I know through social media or people that I follow that I don't know personally, but I'm very much influenced by them. I would miss that.
I guess you'd learn to depend on the people around you more for those things that are lacking.
Yeah.
I'll shed a tear for our follow-on processors.
Yeah.
And
That i7, i9, they've been really replaced with some of that Apple silicon in a lot of scenarios.
They actually have.
So
The M series chips are pretty impressive.
I'm just worried about the robots. They're gonna start being smart, and I'm not saying they're gonna like take over and everything. I'm just saying they're gonna get intelligent to the point where they're probably gonna push for some workers' rights and stuff.
Right.
They might,
I hope not.
because if they're not getting enough tips,
I'm still not sold on it. I don't think there's a reality where they need anything from us.
dude, AI, man, they can start thinking that way.
But who said that we're going to be implementing artificial intelligence and emotion into working machines? I think that
I'm not saying emotion. I'm saying the intelligence, though.
I don't
So
think...
like you don't have to have the emotions of I'm underpaid, but you can have the knowledge and the intelligence of, oh, I should be getting a tip. I should be getting more because that's not fair.
Sure. I just don't see a reason to program that into the intelligence.
I'm not saying they would even program it.
You're
but
thinking
they
it would
will
just
have
develop
to,
it on its own?
They will have to really restrict their language model and not open it up to...
Do you know what I just thought of?
No, I don't.
When a robot says a naughty word, you just like restrict your language model.
Man. How do you give a robot a demerit?
Hey, listen to your motherboard, restrict your language model. Oh, dude.
That's funny.
It is funny. I am funny. What were you saying, though?
Well, I'm just thinking you don't want them to go on strike. That would be bad.
I'm not for technology, to be very honest with you. Like, I love the things it affords us, but I'd rather live in a world without it. I think the world was probably a happier place. If you go back 500 years and you talk to anybody, if we could travel in time, go back to talk to someone plowing their field and be like, ask them on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate your happiness? What do you think the average person would say?
I don't know, dude. I think that there was a level of happiness they had back then that we don't have, but I also think that there's way less suffering in the world now.
I don't know. It's debatable.
That's just kind of fact. Like, there's way less suffering in the world now, way less poverty. I mean, poverty is just a small, tiny fraction of what it was 100 years ago or however long ago.
Sure, but things to consider are financial suffering and emotional suffering that people endure through the technology that we put in front of us. I would counter-argue that, and I know this isn't a debate forum, but I think people lived better lives. I would have to assume because they didn't want as much, they didn't need as much, they were content when the sun woke up and started working, they would deplete their energy doing what they did to survive and then go to sleep when the sun went down and they start the day over again and they'd have people near them.
But I think we could have that again with technology.
Well, then let's get there.
I think that, no, I agree. Yeah, exactly. I just think that like people, it's like that because of human nature, not because of technology. Technology has just like caused that to, rapidly manifest. But I just think we could, if we really had the right priorities and the right morals and stuff, we could have that level of happiness, but also use technology to its advantage without letting it control our lives and affect us emotionally and all that stuff, depending on it and all the stuff that our generation does.
Well said. Okay. You haven't completely sold me, but thine eyes are open.
I'm not advocating for like robot waiters and all this, but I do like some level of tech.
How about robot friends?
Robot what?
Robot friends.
Friends?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like Friends with Joey and Chandler, that kind of Friends.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't know. That'd be cool.
I think there's a lot to dissect with what we just talked about.
Sure. There is.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're getting at, but
There just is.
okay. I think the robots are going to change the workforce. Okay?
For sure.
Like here's the thing. There's going to be big changes that are going to be fundamental to our society. Like I don't think they're going to have ketchup bottles in restaurants anymore. I think the robots are just going to come up and just kind of shoot it out of their fingers like a condiment Spider-Man kind of thing.
Okay, but
right on your plate.
The compartment that holds the ketchup will still be equivalent to a bottle. It's just inside of a robot.
Yeah.
All right, so it may not be on the table, but it's still there.
I'm just saying that's different, isn't it? And are you okay getting ketchup from inside of a robot?
Now, god dang, I want my ketchup straight from a bottle. I want to slap that 57 on that Heinz.
Well, dude, it's true.
Until that bottle's depleted. 43 if that's your flavor, but
yeah. There is something about slapping that bottle.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't mean to make a Donald Duck sound. But if my robot waiter made a Donald Duck sound, it probably might be more entertaining for me.
And then like portion sizes. Portion.
Oh, okay.
You know how you go to a restaurant and there's like a portion size on the menu sometimes, or like you see a picture of it, or it's this many pounds or whatever. I think what's going to happen is if we start letting the robots take over too much, they're going to start measuring the portion sizes in bites.
Per person?
Bites. Yeah. Like, oh, you're getting that. I want that, that T-bone steak over there. Oh, that's 16 megabytes.
For what you make me endure, I knew where you were going with that. The second I slammed my head into my microphone. Oh, Jaron.
That porterhouse over there, that $40 porterhouse, that's a 24 megabyte steak over there.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
How do you feel about that, Alex?
It's great. I think I would like to take some time to process this personally.
I also think it's going to get to the point where people are going to adapt and like, you know how some restaurants are just slow? Well, if you have a restaurant you like to go to and you're not sure whether the service is going to be slow, you just bring a can of WD-40 with you just in case.
Is that another Star Wars droid?
No, WD-40.
Is it another numbered iteration of the Heinz dipping sauce line?
No, it's a numbered iteration of water displacement.
I just learned something new. I actually didn't know that's what WD stood for.
So,
WD-40.
You can just bring a can of that with you and spray it on the robots, speed up the service a little bit.
As long as it's not going on my French fries, I will concede. And
it's an oil though, so I feel like
aioli.
There's already oil on your French fries.
Yeah, it'd be a truffle, an aioli, a robot truffle.
Dude, what if robots started having accents like that?
I would be much happier. I love
because
them.
their accents are too robotic with like normal English. Well, that's just how we've seen it in movies,
Yeah, dude.
Have you ever seen a movie where they have accents?
Robots?
Yeah,
probably. Yeah, I'm sure.
I just never really thought about that. I just thought all robots spoke English until right now.
Well, that's because we watch movies
in English. That is not very,
RC?
Accepting. That's not very...
It's not very RC. It's not very robotically correct. Oh, god dang, I'm funny.
And are they gonna like walk up and give you a live reading of you're like picking out items on the menu? They're walking up, they're giving you like a live reading of your cholesterol as you're looking at the menu. I don't need that kind of negativity.
Yeah, I don't want to be cholesterol shamed by a robot.
Yeah.
I will pass.
Because they have zero cholesterol, which
is probably not healthy. So
not healthy.
So you know what, robots?
Yeah.
that's
I'm
on
okay
you.
with like my 800 or whatever I have.
it's like a credit score, but it's a cholesterol score. And that's how they degrade us as human beings. You check cholesterol karma, and it's like, well, you're not doing so hot, pal.
So what do you think?
And then the robots execute us, and that's the end.
Do you have any thoughts about this?
Yeah, I won't be
Any
downloading.
closing arguments?
I won't be downloading cholesterol karma. I might be okay with Heinz 57 coming out of a robot. I don't know how I feel about much else. I'll need to process this, literally. No joke.
Okay, sounds good.
How about you?
I think I've said about all that I can say today about this. I think this is something we might have to revisit later on another episode.
That's fair.
What do you think?
I would,
Sometime. Because technology changes so fast, you know?
I'd be okay with that.
Yeah. So yeah, what restaurant do you want to have a robot waiter first? In town, like that you eat at regularly?
Dairy Queen.
Yeah, because...
It's got to supersede the staff there. Sorry, guys.
Yeah. That's offensive and true.
And sometimes...
And a lot of things are that in society.
And when I pull away from the window and they've received my payment and they go, thank you, I'll say,
Your thank you. Sounds good. Your thank you.
Your thank you.